Hello, beautiful people. My name is Chong Wen. Today I'm going to talk about understanding the visual synthesis of the conflicting information this paper by the Pratik Hariharan, Audrey, and Cindy. This paper is very important for understanding how we deal with lots of information, especially in today's world. We get so much data from the different places. For the motivation of this paper, it started looking into this because of all the different COVID-19 information around the world. It's very hard for people who aren't experts to make sense of all this information, whether they are true or false, especially with the way search engine work and how our mind can trigger us. As we all know, the cognitive biases right now on the search engine algorithm. We really need the researchers decided to get better at understanding this process through this study. For the research goal and the main contribution, the main goal here is to figure out how regular people put together scientific information, which means they need to understand the non-expert synthesis of the scientific evidence. This is super important right now with all the information and wrong information we see every day. The big thing this paper does is create a new way to look at how people deal with the information that doesn't always match up. It comes up with a new development of supportive tools for unbiased information processing. Researchers from this paper also have created an empirical model investigating synthesis of the conflicting visual texture information. This is something that hadn't been done much before. For the related work, in other researchers' studies, researchers found out that people often go with the gut feeling, especially when they see something like a brain image and a personal story. It's very hard to put together data from the graphs and the charts. There are some tools out there like the Unakid to help, but researchers still needed to learn a lot about how people use these tools. For the summary of this paper did a big study on how people think about the information that doesn't always agree, especially when it's shown in pictures and words. It has a comprehensive study on non-expert synthesis of the scientific information. It also focuses on cognitive biases in processing conflicting visual and texture data. There is a three-tier experiment approach. First, the look at how people understand pictures without any info. Then, researchers added some real-world context. Finally, they put in full stories with the pictures, so they are respectively baseline, contextual, complete information. Also, researchers use diverse visualization and scenarios for robust analysis. Let's talk about the first experiment. In the first experiment, researchers wanted to see how people understood pictures without any story. They had 295 people look at different graphs. They found out that different people have divergence from mathematical average in higher lective correlations. They also have bias towards weak slope in negative conditions. Furthermore, there is a high dependence of the mental models on question format, which is the obvious because they don't provide any context so far. So in conclusion, they found that people didn't always follow the exact numbers, and sometimes they focused more on smaller difference in the graphs. On the right side, we can see the result of the second experiment for the first experiment. For the second experiment, they had 600 people look at graphs about the real things like farming and government spending. On the right side, it is the second experiment result. They also found out that there is a divergence in interpretation influence of the priors, and also people have put more weight to weak slopers in negative conditions and to the positive slopers in opposite directions. In conclusion, they found out that what people already believed affected how they saw the data. People often paid more attention to smaller difference or the positive trends, depending on the situation. In the third experiment, they looked at how people put together stories and pictures. They had 288 people read news articles with graphs. The results showed that people's political views can change how they thought information. They often gave more importance to smaller differences when the trends were in the same direction, which means that they put the direction weighting more weight to the weak sloper in the same direction conditions. Okay, finally, researchers recruited all the people, which is the 1,166 people, and asked them how they deal with the information that doesn't match up in real life. On the left side is the result of the real-world synthesis behaviors. They found out that different people use diverse strategies for slope estimation and dealing with the conflicting evidence. Also, people use different online search strategies based on their own beliefs. Of course, different people have mixed feedback on experiment scenarios, relatability, and realism. In conclusion, people have different ways of figuring things out, and like averaging the data or going with what they already thought. This part helps researchers understanding how what they found in the experiments applies to the real life. For the verification, to make sure the findings were solid, they did 3 different kinds of experiments, as I mentioned before, and they had a lot of different people take part into the all the experiments. They are diverse, and lastly, they also check the results in different ways. This careful approach makes the finding really solid. Of course, every study has a limitation. While this study tells us a lot, there's still more to learn. The experiments they did might not work the same way with different kinds of pictures or stories. There should be further studies which look at different ways of showing the data and how stories pictures work together. Finally, to wrap up, this paper shows us how people put together information from graphs, focusing on how strong or clear the trends are. These findings were the same across the tests, showing us how we usually interpret graphs and charts. It's really interesting to see how our minds work with so much information. This is fascinating. Okay, I think that's all. That's all my video presentation. Thank you for your listening. Have a good day.